that someone like you and a handful of other teenagers, 20-year-olds, can disrupt the company to this extent. I'll give you that. And yet you're trying to tell me that you do this for moral reasons, right?
This specifically wasn't for a moral reason. This was the first time that I've done anything like grey hat wise. I'm usually more of the white hat security type of person where I try and tend to help people out. But I just decided to get in on this. You know, I mean, I really don't feel that I shouldn't have. But
so you don't feel any sense of shame?
In all honesty, if I did, I would have probably apologized by now, but no, I don't.
You see, some people might question your morality. Some people might question the type of 22-year-old little hacker that you are. Because Twitter reports say that the owner of Mega Upload, Kim.com, offered your squad 3,000 lifetime encrypted vouchers to stop the hacking, which you accepted.
Yeah. We did, yeah.
Right. So it was nothing really to do with exposing a company for the greater good. You took the money and you ran, didn't you, like a petty criminal?
Well, we didn't really expect money from it in the first place. If we really cared about money, we could have used the Twitter accounts that we generated over 50,000 followers within 24 to 48 hours. We could have used that for monetization, you know. We could have easily linked out a couple of, sent out a couple of linked profiles or whatever that could literally, like, each click gain us 3 to 6 cents, depending per country. France, for example.
Why did you take the vouchers then?
It was just an offer, you know. We were really, it's hard to say. It was just a one-time thing. It's $300,000 worth of vouchers.
Dirty, grubby greed.
Well, that's what happens. I'm afraid that's what it is like in the security
business. Many children's lives do you think you disrupted for your greed?
God, well, we have been called the Grinches of 2014, so God, I wouldn't even be able to even go, like, think of a number. I think it's just millions.
Millions, like quite a few of them, like your little 10-year-old brother.
Yeah, but I don't think
that makes you a man, doesn't it? Makes you a real man. You must feel powerful disrupting 10-year-olds.
It really depends. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that.
Feel strong, do you?
No, you don't feel strong by doing this. You just you feel that you have the power to do something, and maybe the company could actually change for the better. But obviously Sony still hasn't.
A lot of people out there might criticise us, the BBC, for giving you this interview, because I guess they will say that we're giving you the publicity that your group wants.
Well, I don't think that they have the right to say that, because we've been offered interviews. TV interviews where we've been offered with CNN earlier on today, Washington News, Sunday Times, Daily Dot, just literally a couple of minutes ago, just before you came on air with us. They just published an article which is really huge. I'm pretty sure you know them. So we're not really getting any publicity that we don't already have, if that makes sense. So they don't have any right to be blaming you guys for anything, to be honest.
What would make you stop this?
It's already been stopped right now.
What would make you stop doing it again? Like, what are you actually trying to achieve? What's the end game here?
There is no end game. That's the thing. Like I said, or like my friend said, it's for some of us it was just for the fun of it, and for others it was just to see what we could achieve, to see if it could happen, to see if it could work. You know, so. It's just, it really depends, and it's random.
I'm sorry to go back to this again, but I will, because, you know, I'm an ordinary guy, and I guess that I expect, you know, ordinary people to respond the same as I do. Presumably you wouldn't go into a child's house, lift his PlayStation and smash it on the ground on Christmas Day just so they couldn't play it.
No, of course
not. You're not that type of dork, are you?
No, that's just horribly sick.
And yet you've done the equivalent.
Well, it's not really the equivalent, because their consoles weren't even their consoles were working. The only thing they couldn't do was just access their online. They still have access to it right now, and they had access to it after the attack stopped. It really depended on the DNS servers, and most people are still on right now. I mean, those kids. Do you really think that 14 hours is... Do we live in such a world where 14 hours of not being able to access a console which they were gifted is such a crime?
You sound quite articulate. You sound quite intelligent. And yet you're doing such a stupid thing. Would you not prefer to be a a better citizen for wherever it is you live? Would you not actually prefer to do some good?
Oh yeah, that's pretty much what we usually do. But like I said, this was just a bit of fun, which we didn't really plan too much. We just thought that we should just do it, you know. I can't really say any more than that, to be honest. But yeah, one day I'd...
Let me go back to Alex, who's been listening to this.
Sure.
Alex, what have you made of what you've heard?
I mean, it's very admirable, to try and expose the security flaws of multinational companies, which make a lot of money from ordinary people buying their products and so forth. So, I do expect them to have really high security, but I would contend that doing it on Christmas Day and doing it in such a fashion is not the right way of doing things, really, because you've upset a lot of people. A lot of kids out there, a lot of young people that have only a few days during the year where they can hang out with their families and spend time with them and just have fun, and to do it over these days, I don't think it's right.
Number two, can I just come back to you again? Why are you not frightened of getting caught?
I'll be honest with you. I've been told by several people, friends and family that know of this, workers, that there is a chance that I will get caught, and I personally I'm not really that worried about it, to be honest. If I get caught, then I get caught. Maybe I'll end up serving time, or maybe I'll end up helping companies or helping the company that we attack. To just help them get better, I guess.
So, I'm interested in how this group actually formed.
It's pretty interesting. Some of us didn't know others, and some of us were close friends from years ago. Let's just say, this sounds really bad, but the majority of the security researchers out there start on underground hacking forums. You have to lurk to understand what's going on. You have to be able to hack to be able to prevent other companies from getting hacked, It's the basics. So we started on underground hacking forums, really, where you were either invited to the forum or you had to build your own reputation and stuff like that. That's where we started, at least. And we just joined other forums and we met one another, shared skills and assets.
Here's my final question. Remember, when I'll ask you this, so what do you predict the future is? Are we going to... Do you think the future is groups like yours disrupting national companies who...
I believe that's going to keep happening until these companies actually take some steps to prevent these attacks. I mean, for me, doing that, preventing attacks like this would be relatively simple, but it appears that companies like Sony or Microsoft don't just have the kind of people to do this on their payroll for some reason. Or either that or they're just not putting enough money into it.
Well, I don't believe you. So you're telling me it's relatively simple and they just haven't done it?
Yeah, it is relatively simple. It would take an investment of a couple of $1 million per month, maybe, to prevent attacks like this, but that would be nothing for Sony or Microsoft. They make that in a day.
Just think of how much they lost in the past 14 hours. Well, in the 14 hours Sony's almost been offline for over 24 hours. Actually, they have Microsoft have got back onto their feet because they actually have people that know what they're doing, somewhat know what they're doing. Whereas Sony is still charging £4 to £5 a month for their membership, and they still can't prevent their servers from or they can't upgrade their servers to the state where they could actually prevent such a simple attack. It costs money, but in the long run, it's so worth it. They just don't do it because they want to keep money for themselves. Maybe now they'll change their minds after what's just happened, hopefully.
Yeah, there's a statement here from Microsoft. Yesterday, some users weren't able to sign in to Xbox Live. Our teams worked throughout the holiday to resolve the issue, and Xbox Live core services have now been restored. How come they can't, I've always been told follow the money if you want to find criminals, people like you too. How come you can't be found through these encrypted vouchers, member one?
Well, I've got the encrypted vouchers here, but I'm personally not going to use them. I mean, it would be rather hard to identify me based on those vouchers. And even if that happened, that wouldn't hurt me at all. I mean, the cops could come here, they'd pick up a computer, they'd look at the computer for a while, then they'd find out there's really nothing that connects me to these attacks conclusively on the computer. And then they'd have to let me go.
You going to spend your money, number two?
I honestly, like I told number one, I really don't care about the money. I told them that I would get rid of these vouchers for them, and I don't want a percentage of it. They offered me a percentage and everything as we share it, and I said no, I don't really want any money from it.
Why do you take them then?
I'm just selling it. I'm not doing anything else other than that. Like, all I do is just sell it and give them their shares, and that's it. I'm done. I don't even want a penny from it. I don't care about the money.
Why did you take them?
Well, the vouchers.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't just our decision. I mean, my decision to just like say, look, we don't want the vouchers. There's a bunch of us, you know. So if the majority of them wanted it, then I can't say no, you know.
Well, there you go. Interesting conversation. Some of you will support what that group are doing. Some of you won't. Here's the number, 0500 909 693. We'll get the news now. It's 11:30.
On digital, online, smartphone.